Was Hiroshima destroyed by bats? Was Hiroshima destroyed by bats? Was Hiroshima destroyed by bats? I don't know, do you?
In August 1945, the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki were supposedly destroyed by fires initiated with the use of atom bombs, one for each city. Many doubt this is what actually happened. The damage to Hiroshima and Nagasaki is not consistent with one single blast. The damage is uniform. Wooden structures have been burned away. More substantial buildings remain, with roofs and other flammable parts burned. It is remarkably similar to the damage caused by conventional firebombing.
From across the nation, President Franklin D. Roosevelt was inundated with novel ideas and offers of help. Some were very unusual indeed. Bats. The idea sounds simple. Take 1,000,000 bats, attach an incendiary bomb into each one, release them over Japan, and watch the massive conflagration and destruction of a city. There were 4 reasons why Adams thought this extraordinary idea might work. Bats can carry their young, sometimes 2 or 3 of them, suggesting they would be strong enough to carry a small bomb. They can be induced to hibernate, which meant they could easily be handled. During daylight hours, they seek out darkness, roofs and attics, cracks and crevices in which to roost. Above all, there were millions and millions of them freely available in bat caves across America. Doc Adams' theories were sound, but to progress the idea, he needed to persuade the government to provide the money and personnel. Not an easy task for a dentist with no military experience. What was needed was a contact in high places. By chance, Doc Adams was a good friend of First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt. On January 12, 1942, Adams put his ideas down onto paper and took it to the White House.
President Roosevelt was kind enough to look at his paper and wrote to his aide, who was William Donovan. He wrote on his note, "Have a look at this bill. This man is not a nut."
If 1,000,000 bats carrying incendiaries really could be released over Japan, the results could be devastating. One target was the city of Osaka in Japan's industrial heartland. The top-secret plan, codenamed Project X-Ray, was given a cautious green light. General Hap Arnold asked Doc Adams to put the plan into action. Catching enough bats was easy. Inducing them to hibernate by cooling the air temperature was straightforward. But making an effective incendiary device that the bats could carry was much more of a challenge. The average Mexican freetail weighed barely half an ounce. Tests showed that it could carry slightly more than its own body weight. But the smallest incendiary device available at the time weighed 2 pounds. A weight 30 times greater than the bat could possibly carry. One of America's top scientists, Harvard chemist Louis Pfizer, was appointed to the project. His task: to design a device small enough for a bat to carry, yet powerful enough to set fire to a building.
His idea was to apply something he'd invented called napalm, which is jellied gasoline. It's a mixture of gasoline and liquid soap, in effect. It's compact, it's relatively lightweight, it's reliable, and once you set it off, it's going to burn very fiercely. But beyond that, once this jellied gasoline gets hot, it will also flow, which means you can get into crevices and under roofs and down partitions and so on. So for the bat bomb, it's the perfect explosive.
To carry the napalm, Pfizer developed a tiny celluloid capsule. It included a time delay fuse, but remarkably still weighed less than an ounce.
The bomb would be attached by means of a surgical clip here to the skin of the chest of the bat. So it would be just suspended under it, sort of like this.
Convinced of the bat bomb's potential, the Marine Corps launches Project X-Ray, and the team starts putting the finishing touches to their weapon. Doc Adams has designed a purpose-built bombshell. The 5-foot container will hold over 1,000 bats snoozing in separate compartments on 26 trays. The bomb will be dropped from high altitude. At 4,000 feet, a barometric device deploys a parachute and the outer casing simultaneously falls away. The trays open like an accordion, freeing the bats from their compartments. Each one then acts as a launching platform, allowing the bats time to wake up. As they take flight, a hair-thin wire arms the incendiaries, primed to go off in 30 minutes.
For everybody's safety, the bats needed to be kept in a state of hibernation while the incendiaries were attached and for the journey to the target. The sleeping bats couldn't just be dropped from a plane because they would simply crash to the ground. For the bats to be delivered effectively, they would need time to emerge from hibernation and a safe platform from which to fly off and find a building to roost in. Doc Adams came up with the answer by designing this ingenious purpose-built bat bomb. 1,040 bats stacked onto 26 trays were placed into a 5-foot bomb-shaped container. On each tray, there were 40 separate compartments, one for each bat. The bomb would be dropped from 5,000 feet with the descent carefully controlled. A parachute would open at 1,000 feet. Simultaneously, the outer casing of the bomb would fall away. The trays opened like an accordion, each tray joined to the next by cord. The bats dropped onto the tray below. The trays then floated slowly to Earth, allowing the bats time to wake up. As they flew off, each bat pulled a hair-thin wire connecting the bomb to the tray. The incendiary was now primed to go off in 30 minutes. On December 15, 1943, the bat bomb was tested at Dugway Proving Ground in Utah. A Japanese-style village was constructed in the desert to see whether the bats would take shelter in roofs and attics as was hoped. The bats performed perfectly. The military were impressed.
In December 1943, at Dugway Proving Ground, Utah, the bat bomb is readied for testing, to be dropped over a replica Japanese town built in the desert.
There was quite a crowd there, mostly statisticians and just, high-ranking observers.
The weapon is taken up in a bomber and released. It works perfectly. The bats disperse and hide under eaves and in attics just as expected. Observers get to work comparing the bat bomb to conventional incendiaries. There may have been skepticism before, but what they find is impressive.
And here's what they wrote. It is concluded that the bat bomb is an effective weapon. Ta-da!
The bat bomb was given official approval in December 1943. It was to be put into operation against the Japanese in September the following year. But on February 16, 1944, came news that no one was expecting. The project was canceled. Nobody could explain why.
Naturally, we were disappointed. We would have liked to have seen it happen because we hoped it would have helped to end the war quickly.
The atomic bomb rendered the bat bomb obsolete before it could be put into action.
Or was Hiroshima destroyed by bats? Was Hiroshima destroyed by bats? Was Hiroshima destroyed by bats? I don't know, do you?